GamingBolt presents 14 video game character designs that completely insulted fans. Throughout the ages, as cultures and conventions changed, beloved characters would undergo makeovers. These fail more often than not. See the recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for example. And the video games industry is as egregious an offender in this way as any other. Why does it happen, and are all of the changes here really all that bad? Well, mostly yes. Here are 14 character designs that completely insulted fans through the years. Knuckles, Sonic Boom. Take Knuckles, Sonic's nemesis and beloved cool guy of gaming. What if Sega made him into an overbuff but skinny-legged muscle brain? For as annoying as Sonic's rework was in Sonic Boom, Knuckles was way more baffling. Even worse is that his character is little more of a dumb jock with oddly intellectual viewpoints in the animated series because it's randomly funny or something. SPYRO, Skylanders. Cute, innocent, fire-breathing Spyro didn't deserve his terrible redesign. Beloved by many old-school PlayStation fans, Spyro was brought into Skylanders with much fanfare. His actual design seemed intended to make him more dragon-like. Instead, it made Spyro look borderline frightening yet still goofy as opposed to, a hero. Crash Bandicoot, Crash of the Titans. Crash Bandicoot didn't get off easier either in his transition through multiple studios. Radical Entertainment's design of Crash, as seen in Crash of the Titans, is the best example. Why the focus on trying to make Crash look cool? Quotes emphasized. Why the tattoos? Why? It's like if Cole's new look for Infamous 2 didn't change in accordance to fan backlash. Classic Crash has recently returned with Insane Trilogy, and we couldn't be happier. Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. If you played Banjo-Kazooie and their intermittent sequel, the dynamic duo came across as cute but not overbearingly so. Kazooie's biting wit and Banjo's friendly nature felt just right, so of course, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts had to turn them into more cutting-edge figures. Kazooie is practically dripping sass, while Banjo looks, well, shady. Thanks, Microsoft. JOANNA Dark, Perfect Dark Zero. From a realistic super spy in the future to a sleek animated model with orange hair, JOANNA Dark's transformation in Perfect Dark Zero was pretty bad. You could argue about the change in aesthetics, but it did nothing for her character. Even worse is the fact that the entire game had this weird sheen over everything, including JOANNA, that looked awful. Mega Man, Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Attention video game developers, what better way to troll fans than by including Mega Man as a guest character but having him resemble Mega Man 1's horrible box art. In fact, bad box art Mega Man in Street Fighter Cross Tekken was even worse. It may have seemed funny at the time, but the result was still terrible. Mercifully though, it was exclusive to the PS3 version. CONKER the Squirrel, Young CONKER. Remember when Microsoft's HoloLens was a thing? One property was going to utilize was Young CONKER, who looked more like Scrat from Ice Age. He's actually so much like Scrat that it's surprising that 20th Century Fox didn't sue. CONKER used to be this obscene icon who appealed to the sometimes juvenile, sometimes adult humor in all of us. Suffice it to say, Young CONKER was about as relevant, but so much worse. Leon and Claire, Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 was finally revealed at this year's E3, and to be honest, we're not the only ones who have a problem with the new character designs of Leon and Claire. Their new looks are quite odd and don't really go well with the game's original concept art. Granted, this is not a straight one-to-one remake, and there will be some new elements here and there, but still, they could have kept the original designs. Chris Redfield, Resident Evil 7. Where were you when Chris Redfield, the overly buff, borderline steroid-abusing Macho Man of Resident Evil 5 and 6 was replaced by a normal-looking guy? Granted, Chris's appearance in Resident Evil 7 was kind of out of left field, but he looked like an actual guy. Unfortunately, many fans didn't really like it, though some have warmed up to it over time. Cole McGrath, Infamous 2. You know which redesign fans didn't really get used to? That of Cole McGrath from Infamous 2. The original Cole was a raspy-voiced, bald-headed harbinger/savior. When Infamous 2 was revealed, Cole looked like Nathan Drake, except with cool, quotes even more emphasized, tattoos. Fans rejected the new look immediately, and Sucker Punch quickly changed it back to the original. CHUN-LI, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. To make things clear, it's not just Chun-Li that looks weird in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Gamora looks like She-Hulk, and so on. However, Chun-Li is perhaps the worst example. Capcom has proven it can make great designs of her. Look at Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Street Fighter 5. So, how did Capcom mess up her face so badly in Infinite? It was quickly changed it back to the original. Edward CARNBY, Alone in the Dark 2008. Whatever you may or may not remember about Edward CARNBY, whose idea was it to turn him into this? Alone in the Dark 2008 reimagined CARNBY as this grungy, grizzled thing that spouted awful dialogues while acting as unbearable as possible. Seriously, try hearing his proclamation and not immediately throw a brick through your screen. Bomberman Act 0. One common practice to redesigning characters is to make them more gritty. To that end, how do you make Bomberman gritty? By stripping away everything that makes him Bomberman, turning him into a generic grimy power mech of some kind, and we don't really know at this point, and setting the story in a dystopian future. Everything about Bomberman Act 0 was repulsive, but our main man's new look was the very worst of it all. Pac-Man, pac-land. Of all the characters that needed a redesign, Pac-Man should never have been considered. Regardless, Namco thought it was a good idea to give Pac-Man legs and a weird hat with a feather. In Pac-Land, things went even further as he received a Pinocchio-like nose as well. You really have to wonder which generation Namco was trying to appeal to here. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.